All right, welcome back. Okay, so this is also going to be a really fun setup. We are in the step for review header settings. When we say header, we're talking about this red section up here. Technically two sections. We've got the top section and the bottom section within the header. We're going to click on review header settings. We've got a button to take you to the header settings page, and then a button to take you to edit menus. The header settings is going to affect the design of your header and a couple other things. The menus, that's going to affect what actually shows up in your menus in your header. All right, so click on edit menus. That's going to take you to this page. I've got those two pages pulled up here. All right, so let's look at header sections first. All right, so notice how I've got the background color for the top. Let's open up the home page so we can just look at these changes while we make them. So top section is red. You can change that color. So we could change that to a terrible bluish purple color. All right, let's hit update. And we're going to refresh this page. Notice how the color changed up at the top. I'm going to change it back because I don't think that looks good. You might, to each his own. All right, so you can edit the top section, the bottom or main section. So that's top and bottom right here. And then this border is the color in between. So if I hit update and then refresh this page, you'll notice that there's a really faint line in between the two. I've got that as just kind of an off red with a little bit more gray in it, so that there's a noticeable line. But if you make the top and bottom blue, then you probably don't want a red line in between. So you have the option to change that. You can change the text color and so on. Now there are two options here that you probably don't need to mess with when you're first launching the site, because you're probably focusing on minimum viable product. How do we get this website up and running as soon as possible so that it is useful in these upcoming primaries and all of the stuff that you've got to do this year, you know, Lincoln Days, stuff like that. So when you're ready, there is an option for you to swap out the logo. So instead of saying the county name up here, you can drop in a county logo. Now, I will say that it's hard to make that look good unless your logo is really dang awesome. So even if you have a logo, you might decide not to put it in the header, partially because a lot of you guys choose to have square header or square logos, which looks great on a t-shirt. It usually looks terrible in a header, I'll just be honest. So it could make your header really, really tall, really, really deep. It might take up a lot of your page if you upload a square logo into that option. Just warning you. It generally looks better with something that is wide and short. That way it doesn't make this too deep. But know that that is an option. Personally, I think it always looks better with words instead of a picture if the picture is complicated or tall. In this case, we've got it set up to use a simple menu. So notice how it's just a simple drop down. That is a lot easier to manage, but I know that some of you guys are going to be excited to use the mega menu, which is insanely powerful, but also very complicated. When you click mega menu, you have images, and then you edit the menu items in a different place. So let's just hit update so that you can see what a mega menu looks like. Let's refresh this. All right, so the menu looks basically the same until you hover over it, and then you basically have these huge windows that drop down with all kinds of other links right in here. So it's a bit more complicated to edit these menu items, the mega menu. It's something I'll probably cover in a future tutorial, just because I want to make sure that you guys get these tutorials really soon so that you can launch your websites quickly. Know that the mega menu is an option right now. You can use it right away, but as far as me providing instruction on how to totally customize it, that's a little bit further down the road, maybe later this week or in the near future. For now, I recommend using the simple menu just because it's so much easier for you guys to learn how to use. All right, so I changed it back to simple menu. Let's let it refresh. And that's what that looks like. Okay, so as far as editing the menu items, a couple ways to get there. You can hover over right here when you're logged in as an admin, you've got menus, or you can come to the Launchpad and find menus, edit menus, and that takes you to this page. Now you'll notice that you've got mega menu items right in here. So let's click on let's start with elections. So if you're editing the mega menu, you would select and okay, right now we actually have instruction to view a different tab. I was trying to choose an option that wasn't going to do that. Let's do county involvement. Okay, so notice how you've got a couple different links under the county involvement menu in the mega menu. So that's where you can edit the mega menu. It is more complicated, but it's still totally doable and it uses the same steps as a simple menu. Let's look at the main, let's see, simple main menu right here. So for most of you guys, this is where you're starting. Notice how we've got about us, get involved, events, resources in, and right here, about us, get involved, events, resources. So those are the top items in the menu. And then you've got drop downs that link to each of these pages. If it says draft right there, it's not going to show up in the menu. If it says page or Elementor, then it will show up in the menu. All right, so this is what it looks like to design a menu. You can add other pages by selecting the page. You click add to menu, and then you drag it into the right place. So I'm gonna do that with a custom link. So let's say idahogop.org. Say state party, add to menu. So it's going to be added as a top menu item. So if I refresh, this menu is going to get wider because I just added state party to the top of the menu. Now, if you want that to be in a drop down, you can drag that around. You can put that in about us, save menu. Let's come back here and refresh. And now state party is no longer listed here because it is under about us. Pretty straightforward. That's standard WordPress stuff. So if you've ever worked in WordPress before, this is nothing new for you. The only thing that's new is the header settings where you can switch back and forth between the mega menu and the simple menu. Don't ask how that works. It's nuts. This is what you want to know right now. All right, that's all I'm going to show you for editing the header section. let's move on to talking about the footer in the next video. So go ahead and go through these steps for your website. Make sure that your menu accurately reflects the pages that your central committee wants to have linked in the menu.